Good morning, everybody. Happy Taco Tuesday. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. So glad you guys could join us this morning. Now, you guys, look, there's only one thing in the world that can make me revisit being a Cowboy fan. We're going to talk about it soon because you see that headline. Also, we've got to talk about some shade that a former Cowboy is throwing towards my boy, Colin Kaepernick, and I'm just going to weigh it out. So before we do all that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Happy Taco Tuesday. And now here is the rest of the Fumble Squad. I'm your girl, Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all things social media at JRay the Fanatic.
It's your boy Chris. You can follow me everywhere at CK2K. My fro is at 80% picked out today. It's just a wild and crazy day for me on this Taco Tuesday. How you feeling, Jackie?
I'm tired. I could not sleep at all last night. I don't know what's going on with my life, but I was just wide awake. I know what happened. I was up late watching these do-it-yourself, and then when I went to bed, I was like, "Ooh, I bet I could. Ooh, I bet I could," and I just couldn't sleep. So,
yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah, no, I was up last night too, and it was the same thing. I didn't know what it was, but just like I knew what it was. I was playing 2K. I knew what it was. It's my own fault. I can't blame nobody. It's my fault. It's my fault.
At least I was thinking about buying land and like gating it off and creating my own.
That's what's up.
Town. You know what kind of town I want, but so at least mine was productive.
No, mine was productive. Look, if you don't stay up on these streets, man, I'm gonna go out there and get smacked up by all these people. Like, oh, CK, I could take you in 2K. I gotta stay on my toes. I gotta be on my toes.
Okay, all right. I don't know nothing. Okay, I see.
I was trying to make it work.
Yeah, you gotta work. All right, y'all. Let's get into this first need to know news. Is anybody surprised what our first need to know news topic is about? Because it seems like every day we got to revisit some Ben Simmons situation. So that's what we're going to do right now. We've talked about this on the show for at least the last 2.5 years, that this Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid experiment, they just don't play well together. But now, according to The Athletic, Ben also agrees with that. He does not think that he plays well. His style of play does not match with Joel Embiid, but he says it is not personal. So Sam Amick of The Athletic, he says Ben feels he is better off without Embiid blocking the runways in the paint because the paint is something he so badly needs. And I think we can all agree with that. I think that's a very valid point because the paint is kind of Ben's playground, but that's where Joel lives. So, Chris, if Ben moved from because y'all know I've been saying he should not be playing the 1. So if he moves from the 1 to the 4, could this Ben-Joel matchup, would that possibly work a little bit better?
That's even worse because he's not a stretch. If he was a shooter, then that's a different conversation, but he can't stretch. So now you definitely forcing him to be in the paint.
But he can shoot, though. I know.
That was brilliant. Look, I've been here trying to defend Ben, but I'm not even going to sit here and say that. Until this man shoots more than 3 shots a season, I'm not going to sit here and say he can't shoot. I know he can shoot in the gym with a bunch of Joe Schmoes and when there's no one guarding him. But let me see you take – but if Ben Simmons can give me 53s for a season, that's not even a lot. If he can give me 53s and makes at least 10 of them, then I'll start saying, like, all right, he's improved. Like, no, he's not even doing that. But yeah, to put him at the 4 next to Joel Embiid, I don't know if that would work either. But also too, when this report came out, all I thought was like, what have we been saying? This is what we've been saying. It did not make sense. It did not make sense. The two of you, I'm glad y'all homie. Like he said, it's not personal, but y'all can't do it together. It's just the way it is. He can't play with a guy that needs to be in the paint. So I don't know. I saw no surprises by this.
There's just no way at all that this could work.
Jackie, I gave them that one season with Doc. I'm not a fan. I gave them that season with Doc. Nothing changed. I move on. Hopefully the Sixers can get a point guard out of the situation or just run it with Tyrese Maxey. But it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Get Ben somewhere else.
So what do you think Ben is saying? Do you think Ben is saying that he needs to play the 5 and that's the only way he feels comfortable? What do you think Ben is saying with this?
I think he's saying that he needs to be on a team where the next best option is not a guy that needs the paint. Like look at the Brooklyn Nets. Like their best 3 players are all wing players, so the paint is predominantly opened up. So I think that's what he's looking for as far as a team because his second best guy is a dude that eats in the paint and that takes the paint away from him. So I think that's all he's trying to get at is he just he thinks he needs to be on a team where the floor is more spaced out for him. And I completely agree. I completely agree. I've been saying it. You put him on a team where you're surrounded by shooters, where all this Ben Simmons nonsense we've been saying is going to be for the birds because he's going to have a phenomenal season. I'm telling you, I just don't know what team's going to trade and make it happen. Like the Sacramento thing we've been talking about, if he goes to Sacramento, he'll be able to have a field day because there's nobody there that really demands any paint presence, so he'll be able to do the same thing. So I don't know. I get what he's saying, and I agree with it. I just don't know how it's going to work in his favor because they still have to trade him. So it's not like he gets to choose where he goes.
So it's like you said, let's give Doc one season. Was one season enough? Did Doc do enough to try to make this Ben Simmons, Joel situation work?
Well, what else could he do? I think so. I don't. What else is he going to do? Like even if he does go your route and takes him off of the point guard, puts him at the 3 or puts him at the 4, I just don't see what that does for Ben Simmons. Like I get it that the whole LeBron James argument, but the thing is with Ben Simmons, he is a point guard. Like he is that is what he does. Is he passes the ball and he drives and get like that's his game. And if you take that part away from him, you're almost going to get a Lonzo Ball type result like last season. The only difference is Lonzo Ball, he upped his shooting numbers with not being a point guard and him being frustrated with it. Ben Simmons ain't going to up his shooting numbers. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's going to be a worse result if you, at least with this team. Like I think that there's a possibility that somewhere he can do what you said and be a 3. But with this team, if you put him at the 3, I just don't see it working because they already don't have many shooters at the 4 position as it is. It's just Tobias Harris. So other than that, the other bigs and their wings don't really shoot. So I don't know. I just feel like the ship has sailed, man. This thing is gone. You gotta move them. You gotta move them. Whether it's Deshaun Watson-esque and it's gonna be somewhere during the season or next year, or whether it happens before, I don't know. He got to go. It's not working. It's getting uglier and uglier by the day.
Okay, so that's a great point. It is getting uglier and uglier by the day. He is. It seems like every other day, if not every day, he's saying another reason why this won't work. Do you think because now he's being very specific as to what he needs to be successful that maybe the 76ers are saying, okay, if we're going to get this situation off our hands, we have to lower our asking price a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I really think there's a world. I keep bringing up the Kings, and to your point, yes, but I really think there's a world where they can get a Tyrese Halliburton, a Davion Mitchell, or a De'Aaron Fox from the Kings. The Kings are not a smart organization. So before they dumb it down a little bit, I think that they can put some deal together that can get one of those 3 guards to go slot in at his spot and then send Ben Simmons to Sacramento. I know that that's almost like sending someone to prison. I get that. But at the same time, if you're looking at the Sixers trying to, improve their team as well, I think they can get one of those 3 guys. So I would make that phone call first before then ultimately being like, all right, dumb it down. Because I think that that's a fair trade in some kind of package you can put together with one of those 3 guys. And also Q2 Reckless, I'm looking at you in the chat. Kemba's fine. Don't worry about Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is where he's supposed to be. Don't worry about Kemba. I see you, Q2. Don't worry about Kemba.
I couldn't even get to it. You was on it. You was like, no.
No. Kemba's fine.
Okay, so now look, I know Ben Simmons says that this is not personal, but you're going to show us something in the post-up that I saw yesterday that I was like, I don't know. Do you really think this is not personal? Do you think that maybe it is for Joel, but do you think Ben is really like, yo, we tried it, it doesn't work, and I'm over this not working? Or do you think there's a little bit of just really a personality clash between him and Joel Embiid?
Like I said, with them, with him working out with other players and him not having contact with Joel, because Joel has openly said that the 2 of them haven't really talked at all this offseason. Yeah, I don't think Ben's comments are personal. Maybe I'm being naive. It didn't seem personal because I just think it's just facts, like we've been saying it here too. But Joel's comments seem personal, so there might be actually something there for sure between the 2 of them. But I didn't take Ben's comments personally. It's just a fact. Like they both can't play in the paint, and he understands it. He realizes that. And Ben Simmons is not in the business of trying to say anything to make the Sixers feel like there's hope. He's trying to say whatever he can to get him out. So I don't think Ben's comments were personal, but I definitely believe Joel's comments were a little bit on the personal side.
Yeah, I can't wait for y'all to see that. I was on the floor when I saw that. But I agree. Ben Simmons literally just almost verbatim said something that we've been saying on this show for the last 2 years. So definitely, like the Black Panther mug. I like it. I see you. So definitely don't think that there was anything personal with that. Hey, Wakanda forever. All right, so this next one, because this next one, I literally was almost late this morning because I just watched this whole thing because I really I watched the whole thing. And it was a mind trip. I highly recommend you go watch I Am an Athlete. It's up right now on YouTube. It's with Dez Bryant. It's definitely a mind trip, especially if you were cognizant of some of the things that Dez Bryant was saying, back when Colin Kaepernick had kind of started his protest. And it's not just about Colin Kaepernick that he talks about. He talks about his childhood. He talks about, life now that he's not playing. And Brandon Marshall was like, okay, since you retired. And Dez like, I ain't retired. And so he talks about a lot of things. It's not just this Colin Kaepernick situation that he talked about, but some of the stuff that he said just really, it's a mind trip. Again, when you know how he grew up and you know what he thinks now, it's a little weird. But what he's getting dragged for is the comments that he made about Colin Kaepernick. So I'm going to have to just I have to flash back in case some of y'all don't remember, because I took this very personally. Dez Bryant was my guy. I had a Dez Bryant jersey.
Yeah,
like,
boy.
He was my guy. That was my guy. I still got his, I refuse to throw it away. I still got his jersey. I'm a little mad that CeeDee Lamb got it. Whatever. But so let me just flash back to this time, because Dez Bryant was the poster child. He was the golden boy. Jerry Jones personally said he wanted to give Dez Bryant 88. That was a big deal because Michael Irvin had that number. So he was literally kind of the poster child for the Dallas Cowboys, but that is how Jerry Jones designed him to be. So now this Colin Kaepernick situation happens. Now Dez, who, I don't know if y'all remember, but during an interview before the draft, he was asked if his mom was a prostitute because people are racist. So that's the kind of question you ask when people are racist. So now you fast forward to this Colin Kaepernick situation, and Dez Bryant goes on this Instagram rant. Chris, I don't know if you remember this, but he goes on this Instagram rant where he quotes Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, who was super militant when he was playing ball, but then when he became a commentator, he became Uncle Ruckus. But he decided to quote the Uncle Ruckus Charles Barkley when he says that Black people will never succeed in this country because we are not sophisticated and we don't stay on the straight and narrow path. So then when Jerry Jones took his racist standpoint, Dez Bryant came out and basically said that he's never experienced racism since he's been in football, playing football, which we all knew was a lie, from the mall incident, from him being asked if his mom was a prostitute, to the comments that he was getting after him and his mom got in a fight. We all knew all of that was a lie, but that's what he said. So now he's going on I Am an Athlete, and he's taking this moment in time to say, I need to speak out against Colin Kaepernick because I said if I ever had a platform, I would. And it's pissed me off, so y'all take a listen.
I respect Colin Kaepernick, but there's one thing that I don't respect. And I said it when I get the opportunity and to get on the stage to say it, I would say it. And I love him to death. So it ain't no hate or nothing like that. But brother, you had the biggest opportunity in the world to create jobs, build jobs, give jobs to people. The people that you was talking about, the people that you so-called standing up for, the people who stood beside you, the people who lost their jobs because of you. Where you at? I ain't heard from you. He brought the awareness, and that's why I respect him.
But what's the call to action?
There wasn't one. There wasn't no call to action.
So I'm not going to disagree with that last point, because we talked about that several times on this show. There wasn't a call to action. Nope. But by his own admission, Colin Kaepernick really didn't intend for this to go the way that it did, but it did. So he should have stepped into that moment, and he should have handled it better because he did have the ear. But what I want to know is, who is Dez talking about that stood with him? Because it damn sure wasn't Dez. So who are you talking about? The people who stood with you, and then you let them down. Dez was very vocal about him saying that he didn't think racism was a thing the way that Colin Kaepernick was. He co-signed when Jerry Jones said, if you are Black, you are going to toe the line with your hand on your heart. Dez was co-signed for that. Dez didn't get pro-Black until he couldn't get a job. Like, I don't want people to miss that. He did not become pro-Black until he couldn't get a job. And then all of a sudden, Black people that he didn't really kind of wash his hands from, then that's when he was like, oh, but what about me? Bro, what about you, though? Where you been? So anyway, people just kind of came for him. Let me let me get to some of these. Now, I don't know if you can see that one because this is the one that I really wanted to talk about with you, Chris, before we get to the first ones, because this is the first comment on the YouTube, and he says basically that he's spot on. He's 100% right in what. So let me just read it to you because I know you can't see it. So he says Dez says some of the absolute realest stuff ever on this show, and I agree with him 100%. The problem is, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they aren't going to change the model. Why would they help the inner city when they know it produces the type of athletes that they need to keep the league going? I think there's a lot said in that comment. So, Chris, I just want to give you an opportunity. What do you think about that comment? Because a lot of people, that man has like over 300 and something likes on that, and people co-signing on him, saying that he's exactly right. What do you think about that?
So that comment itself, that's the thing. And I think you would ask about it. I think that's probably the main reason why, because I feel like we feel the same way in the fact that it was just weird that they let him go because you're going to get your clicks. But I was confused why no one stepped in and then challenged him on it. That was my little beef with that whole soundbite. But to that, what the commenter is saying, I get what Dez. There was some truth to what Dez was saying, as you just pointed out. There was some truth there. The problem is who it's because if I'm not mistaken, you watch. I just Dez had a whole piece talking about him standing with Jerry Jones and defending Jerry Jones. So it's weird to have this and then after calling Kaepernick in that. So that's just my thing. But to answer that comment, I hate agreeing with some of it because he's co-signing Dez, and I'm having with it because I can't designate. It's just I feel like if this was anyone else saying it, then I feel like I'd give it more of a chance. But just because Dez has been flip flopping, I was so happy to hear you being real with it. Like Dez hasn't said nothing. All of a sudden he wasn't there no more. Then all of a sudden Dez he woke. You know what I mean? Here you said that was really I was expecting that. So the point of the matter is, to answer what he's saying, it's very true. Where that. I'm trying to be politically correct.
And I love how you around it. It's really adorable. You're like, okay, let me just go over here. So
you see what I'm doing? Yeah, because you know what I mean. It's my job. I'm not saying this. What the comment is saying is true. Okay, so I'm gonna stay with that. I'm with the comment. I didn't see this one beforehand. I do agree with it. The reason why I'm is because of who he's co-signing. So that's why I can't just come up and say, hey, that's right, straight up, 100%. The league is doing what the league can do. Da 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 da. But because of who he's co-signing, I don't want to. It's coming from Dez. The points are there. Some agreements there, but it's the same time when it's coming from Dez Bryant, I just have a hard time taking it seriously. I have a hard time, I don't know. I just had a hard time with the thing. I saw it, I laughed it off, and then I read the comments, and then I was like, okay, good. I'm not crazy. That's all I'm gonna say about this Bryant thing, because he the flip flopping is hard for me. Yes, I supported Dez, but you can't go in and there's this whole thing talking about Jerry Jones and this, that, and the third support. He did this for me. He did that for me. I believe blah 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 blah. And then now all of a sudden, you having a problem. I don't know. I had a whole problem with the entire thing. As far as the comment is concerned, there's a lot of truth to it, but I just don't like that it's tied together with Dez Bryant. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry if I tiptoed too much, but I just don't like the connection with Dez Bryant. So I don't. It's hard for me to co-sign the entire comment.
I think we missed some of it. It made sense. I got most of it, but I think you're breaking up a little bit. Like you're kind of like, ooh, but I got enough of it. So I think our producer.
No, I see it.
Huh?
No.
Yeah. So can you log out and log back in? Because I don't think it's happening on your end because you were too fluid. You know what I mean? So I think if you could log out and log back in.
Okay.
Just really quick, and then while he's doing that, I'm gonna say what I think about that comment. I think that comment is right, but that's part of the problem. I think that the NFL by design loves that there's kids in the inner city who are. It's kind of like the music business. One of the reasons why the music business or the entertainment business loves really young people is because you can mold them and they don't know any better. But when you go to the inner city and people are really strapped for cash and they want their money, then you can make them do exactly what Jerry made Dez do, and that you can make him toe the line. So I want to get to some. Hey, how you doing? Say something.
All right, we're good. All right, everything's fine. Yeah, that was weird.
So I want to get to some of the dragging that Dez experienced, and then let's just talk about it. So
there was a lot.
There's a lot, and I'm only doing some of it. But basically, his point was Colin Kaepernick hasn't done anything for the people that he was supposedly trying to help. And I'm with you 100%. I didn't like that no one in that room stopped him and checked him or brought out receipts.
It was weird.
There's receipts about 100%. Some of the stuff that Dez Bryant said, and they didn't do any of that. Twitter caught up on some of it, but not even Jamil Hill. And Jamil and Dez had a whole back and forth in 2017. She didn't bring out receipts, but they kind of focused on this part and says Kaepernick founded the Know Your Rights camp to teach kids their legal rights and self-empowerment. They started a relief fund during COVID to help those affected. He donates millions to numerous campaigns despite being blackballed by the NFL. Remind me what Dez has done. I'm going to echo that and say he also partners with 100 Suits. And I know that because that's a charity that I've worked with in the past as well. So 100 Suits, what they do is they give way more than 100 suits, but people that are just coming out of being incarcerated, they make sure that they're suited and booted and they look the part when they're going out and interviewing. So then that way they don't have to worry about the stigmas. So they help them look the part. They get their resumes together. They really give them resources to acclimate back into to society. Colin Kaepernick is still hugely instrumental in making sure that nonprofit continues going.
Right.
So you might want to check these types of things out, Dez. So let me go to this next tweet. That says, with all due respect, and this is Jamil Hill. I was surprised she didn't bring out no receipts. But with all due respect, Dez Bryant is uninformed. Colin Kaepernick has created a publishing company and a publishing company at SPAC that's raising $300 million for social justice initiatives, a production company, etc. on top of funding the Know Your Rights campaign. I don't get the point of dragging his name. So 100% right. If you don't know, a whole documentary is coming out about Colin Kaepernick on YouTube. Docuseries. So that's coming out. But then this person kind of took the lazy way out and basically said, well, if that's what he's doing, it's basically his fault because we don't know. So he says, Jamil, well, it needs to be talked about because me and everyone I know didn't know anything about what Cap did besides awareness and a few charities. Other than that, we haven't heard nothing Cap was doing lately. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? So you're basically telling me I can go out here and save the world, but if you don't see it on social media, it's not relevant?
Exactly. And I feel like that's what's getting lost in the sauce. I think people, and that's just the culture we're in right now, where everybody needs to see what's going on, especially with celebrities. If you don't see what's happening, then it's not real, and they're not really. No one's giving back, and the whole people getting upset that rich folks or celebrities, they get big houses, but then they think, okay, so you can live in this big house, but you're not giving back to the homeless community and stuff like that. Like, because they don't see it and they don't hear headlines about people doing this and the third, then it's not real. And I think the thing, like you were saying, that they're picking and choosing what they're arguing with Dez Bryant, which is right. What Jamil said is right. What the first one said is right. But as far as the call to action, as you mentioned, that's something that we've talked about in here, and that's the one, I wouldn't say beef, but one glaring factor to the whole thing that Colin Kaepernick has built. This entire, am I cutting again? I hope I'm not cutting. I can see myself cutting. Can you understand me?
Good.
Are we okay? Okay, good. Yeah, so the whole thing that Colin has been building and this entire, I won't say empire, but this entire movement that Colin Kaepernick has been pushing, the one part that I feel like a lot of us not been frustrated, but just like, you're just like, come on, has been, now what? Now push us to do what? Now what next? Like, I get you're speaking on it, hurt about this, doing this, you're doing your part, but now use this to do something. So that's the part that Dez Bryant, I feel like that was the only truth to everything else. So I'm glad that people were able to then move past that and go after other things, because I feel like that's the problem that Brandon Marshall had, that Chad Ochocinco had. They latched to the one part that they agreed with, and then they went with that rather than doing what what Twitter has been doing and calling them out. Because, like, to me, I feel like that would have been such a I probably would have watched the full episode. I did not watch the episode. I didn't want to because I saw the comments like, I already know it's going to go. That would have made me want to watch it, is if they challenged them on it, because I know that Chad feels a different way. I know Brandon Marshall feels a different way. We've heard Brandon Marshall feel a different way. So I wish they challenged them on it, because, like Jamil said, there's a lot that was really ill-informed, and I feel like it was coming from a place of somewhere else as far as how he was talking about Colin Kaepernick. So I just felt like there was a lot missing. There was a little bit of truth, but there was just a lot missing in Dez's statement. And I don't know. It was just weird. The whole thing was just weird to me. I didn't like it. I saw the clip. I moved on. I didn't like it. Yeah.
What we didn't show you in the clip, and the part that infuriated me, was he goes on this, like Jamil said uninformed rant about Colin Kaepernick,
Rant.
and then Brandon Marshall says, "Okay, I'm gonna say one name to you, and you respond." And he said Jerry Jones, and Dez Bryant says, "I love Jerry Jones. I love Jerry Jones, and he loves." And then he, instead of really calling it what it is when he was cut, he was like, "I know that Jerry cut me because it was a business decision." And this is the lie, since y'all always want to blame stuff on the devil. This is the lie from the devil that Dez Bryant said in that interview. He said he cut me because he knew I was going to keep it real, basically implying that he was super pro-black as well, and Jerry Jones didn't want that in the locker room. What evidence do we have of that, sir? What evidence do we have of that? And this is the part that really got me. He says, "I'm building my business the way that I watched Jerry Jones build his." Okay, Des. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's yeah. It was just funny because he just went in and he was saying all these nonsense things about Colin and whatnot. And then literally, and it's almost like Brandon Marshall like dropped the mic knowing what he was doing. I don't know if he knew what he did, knowing that he was going to respond with Jerry Jones or respond the way he did about Jerry Jones. But to me, I thought it was such a perfect like, okay, that's how you feel, Des? Well, how about Jerry Jones? Oh, I love him. He's great. And I was like, okay, well, we know we heard what we need to hear. That's how it felt the way he had asked the question. But I don't know, man. It's like I said, the whole entire thing was weird, and that's why I didn't want to watch it. But if you think that it's something I should check out, I'm gonna go check out in its entirety. But I don't know. I was not a fan.
Yeah, I thought that they could have done better because I feel like a lot of people are going to think like this last user did. And I was like, no, this is actually a really good podcast. But this person says throw the whole damn show away if they sat up there and let Dez speak foul of Cap's name and didn't check him. And I think that's the point that they're making. And that I did feel some type of way about that. So y'all need to do better.
I love the show. It's a phenomenal show. Don't get twisted. I do love that podcast. This is a great podcast. It's hilarious and it's very informed. But yeah, just that episode, I was like, you know what? I can skip this episode. You know how some TV shows you can do that? That's how I feel about this one. That's how it is. But all right.
Yeah, but let's get into this Taco Tuesday post up. With your boy,
ladies and gentlemen, it's time for post up. No, I love it. I love it. No, right, you heard her. Taco Tuesday post up. It's time for a post up here today on this fine Taco Tuesday. Yeah, I'm glad we talked about that. I thought I was going to go in the shadows. So I don't know. And yeah, Dez Bryant. You guys watch the video if you haven't watched it already. Inform you guys yourselves about it and let us know how you think about it. But yeah, let's get into Taco Tuesday and this fine. I'm gonna call it Media Day post up because a lot of this comes from the Media Day from yesterday. And guess where it starts? Philadelphia. Surprise to nobody, as Joel Embiid, like we mentioned earlier, we heard Ben Simmons' comments and we saw the Athletic put the whole tweet out and the whole report about Ben Simmons not wanting to play with Joel Embiid anymore, and nothing personal, just doesn't think that the two of them mesh, blah 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 blah. Well, Joel Embiid, who actually showed up to his media day, was asked similar questions like, if Ben Simmons would come back, do you feel this? Da 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 da. Well, this this reporter asked Ben Simmons a pretty good question. Not just if he came back, what would you want to see him work on? But Joel Embiid's response, y'all let me know if there's some shade here or if you think Joel Embiid's just keeping it real. Here's the first one. Here's the video.
Back here, Joel. Noah Levick, NBC Sports Philly. You've talked in the past about how you love when Ben's aggressive, how you love when he shoots when open. If he does end up returning to your team, what specifically do you want to see from him on the court this season?
I mean, I'm sure we all seen videos. That will help because he has that potential.
He tried to bring it back. Joel tried so hard to bring it back. Yeah, we saw the videos, so that'd be a start. Start there by shooting the damn basketball. But it's because he has potential. He's a great. So Jackie, seeing it again, I know you kind of told us how you feel about it. So you think that was a personal jab, there was shade there, or you think Joel Embiid's just being real, like he's just keeping it real, like yo. The man needs to shoot the damn basketball. You know what it is. The video's been all over all summer. So how do you are you taking this? I know you're probably taking the shade route.
Man, when I saw this video, I was in tears before he even answered the question because he said about Ben Simmons and Joel went from like kind of engaged to what?
Yeah, because that's all the questions he was getting. Yeah.
He was like, and then the snickers from the reporters as soon as he's like, you saw the video, like everyone's like, oh, like they kind of made it worse because it was like that video on the Instagram when somebody does a joke and then everybody in the crowd goes, oh, it was kind of like a version of that. It was, I don't even know if he meant it as shade because I've been in these situations where you say something that is just matter of fact to you, but it comes out wrong. It comes out wrong. So he's like, saw the video. I don't think he meant it as shade. I really don't. It was funny to me, and I can see why people take it as shade. I think he was just being honest.
Yeah, no, that's what I think too. Okay, I thought we were gonna disagree. I think like it just because it's just Joel Embiid. He's just a straight up dude, and if you look at his face, like he answered so seriously. There was no joke because normally when Joel is trying to joke, like you could tell Joel was being completely real, and he's right. You know, we've seen the videos, and that's the thing. I feel like they have that relationship where he can. Well, I take that back because he couldn't say his name when he didn't take the shot in the playoffs. I take that back. They probably don't have that relationship. I take it back. But regardless, so I think he was just keeping it real, or he just knows that Ben ain't coming back. So I'm just gonna say my truth, and you know whatever. It doesn't matter. Ben ain't coming back. But yeah, I didn't see it as shade. I mean, it is a shady answer, but it's not a lie. He's being real. Like we've seen the videos. We've been talking about it for the past 3 months. So
I will say, saying at the end of a comment saying because they have potential is almost the same as starting a sentence with all due respect. That means
right, or no offense.
Right. Yeah. You was about to say that. Try a little bit of shade in there.
Yeah. That's the one that brings it back. Like, oh wait, maybe, yeah. Because the way you said it, you know, because he has a lot of potential. It's like, all right, but you already said what you said, Joel. We see what you're doing. But it did not stop there. We are still sticking in Philly because Doc Rivers, man, and listen to Doc Rivers, but check my man Daryl Morey out. Like you can tell that this dude was on a tropical island in his brain because he was just like this. It was just an awkward situation because Doc was out there like combating the damn media throughout his entire presser. And then he pulled a whole Captain Phillips line at the end there when the reporter started to get snippy with him. It was pretty crazy. So here's Doc Rivers.
And if you ever go back on that, and listen, we can go back and forth all you want or anybody else wants on intent. But I've never had a problem owning what I say.
Okay,
ever.
so now
I'm going to finish.
Okay, sure.
I'm in charge here. I'm going to finish. Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
I am the captain now.
God. They're just like,
Yo, my man, I'm so sorry if I ruined the clip for you guys because Daryl Morey, that's all I can see. The first time I saw this, all I can see is Daryl Morey. My man, I just heard like, you know, like the breeze, the beach breeze, like waves, and he just looking around. And even when the whole moment came up, he looked at him like, Like I don't know. The Sixers are just a whole circus right now until they get rid of Ben Simmons. And it's funny because Daryl Morey, one of the main dudes that got to get the job done. Maybe that's why he was off on his little vacation in his head because he knows like, oh God, I'm gonna get killed today. I don't know why I sat here and did this today. All right, you know I'm checking out. my therapist said just woosah. I'm just here. You know, I don't know, man. Like
relaxation beads and just be like
same face. I don't know, but yeah, Doc Rivers. I'm sorry, I did not mean to steal the moment away from Doc Rivers because he checked the media member. He sure did check that media member. I'm gonna finish. And to Doc's defense, Doc was in the middle of a whole statement, and the media member tried to come in. So hell yeah, you gonna get Captain Phillips. I am the captain. You understand me? What does head coach say? What is this thing? Head coach Doc Rivers. So I understood it. I had no problem with it. It'd be one thing if he was just being snippy for no reason. But no, Doc was in the middle of a whole statement. I hate when people be doing that. I hate when people do this. Right. So I'm with you on that one, Doc. So moving off of the Philadelphia 76ers, going over to Jackie's favorite basketball team, the Los Angeles Clippers. So we knew Kawhi Leonard when he initially signed his deal with the Clippers that it was most likely going to end up in a LeBron James type deal, 1-1, to eventually do a longer term deal with the Clippers. But the problem with these 1-1s, and I feel like LeBron James is like the pro at this, is it gives the media the ammunition to turn it into drama. Anytime something goes wrong, it means that player's leaving. And he thinks something's, happening, that if the Lakers or the Clippers don't do right, Kawhi's out of there. Like, it just leaves that open window. Well, Kawhi Leonard is cutting all that. This man, he kept it as transparent as you could have asked any superstar player to. He told him straight up, "Oh, this was my plan. This is what I was trying to do." And like, just listen to Kawhi. I've never heard someone actually keep it this real in a press conference. So it's Kawhi Leonard.
Because I wanted to play. You know what I mean? I mean, the best situation for me, to me, was to do a 1-and-1 and then opt out and then sign a long-term 5-year deal. But I mean, it's a lot of concerns that brings up, for you guys and your job, and then create storylines that I'm going to lead a team. So one thing, wanted to secure some money, and I wanted to be able to come back if I was able to this year. If I'd have took the 1-and-1, I probably would not play just to be cautious and, opted out and took a 5-year. But I'm here to be a Clipper. I'm not going to another team, unless something, drastic happens. But I'm here for the long run.
I love Kawhi Leonard. This is why he's one of my favorite players. I am a Kawhi Leonard fan. This dude does not give a damn about our narratives, does not give a damn about what, the taboo of the NBA is, like, the mysterious, the mystique of, he don't give a damn about none of that. He's like, I'm just here to hoop, man. I ain't trying to play that game. And the best part about Kawhi Leonard is because that is just who he is, that monotone version of Kawhi Leonard. You can't tell, like, when he says, I'm here to stay, I want to be a Clipper, you can't read anything like, oh, yeah, he really sounds like he hates it. No, you can't. That's Kawhi. So you can't read that one way or another, unlike Zion Williamson yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw that clip. I wish we put that on post up because Zion Williamson, that boy, that's a story for another day because that man was lying through his teeth. But anyways, Kawhi Leonard, like, this man gave us the whole game plan, how many years he wanted to stay, the reason why he didn't want one, because he wanted the financial stability. Like, I love it. I love it. I would love this a little bit more from some athletes. I understand why. But Kawhi, this is why he's one of my favorite players, man. No mystery when it comes to Kawhi Leonard. I mean, there's mystery, but I don't know. I loved it. But Jackie, did you have any problems with Kawhi Leonard just keeping it 1,000 with us, just telling us the whole game plan, or you think that he should have kept it a little bit of a secret and just, that's his business?
No, I love it, and I love the jab he took at the media, saying, giving you guys something to talk about, because that's true. That's all we talked about, and I was one of the people. Oh, he don't want to be with the Clippers, and so I appreciated the jab. I didn't take it personally. I was just like, okay, I earned that jab. That's fine. I was watching that video, though, the only thing I thought about was his children. Like, I was like, I would hate to get in trouble with Kawhi, and Dad coming up to me and be like, okay, because a whole bunch of trouble. This is what you did. Like, you ain't show me no emotion, Dad. You freaking me out. That's serial killer speech. Yeah. I need you to show some emotion.
Yeah, no, for real.
I just would love for him to show, because even you could tell that he was trying to throw shade at the media. He was like, yeah, so I gave y'all something to talk about, and then I did what was best for me. And this, like, bro, wait, like I missed it for a second. Wait, did he shade me? Like, Chris, you gotta stop drinking.
I had to tell him about, and then I started laughing. I'm like, no, this is not the time. 100% because the way he just slid it in, like, because we knew that's what he was getting at. But the fact that he said, that's what I'm saying. Like, he don't hide it. Like, I don't know. I love Kawhi Leonard. I don't know about that. But anyways, though, yeah, Jackie, I'm glad you look at you today. That's 2 for 2. Like, you took that. It's not. I wouldn't even call it an L because I mean. This is Kawhi Leonard. Like, he's going to do whatever he wants to do. But you knew, like, you were believing that maybe at some point he'll come back to Lakers. And he said, no, I'm not, Jackie Ray. And you took that and you knew that. So I appreciate that. That's 2 for 2. All right, Dez and Kawhi, look at you. I see that. But sticking with Media Day. Sorry, the Kawhi clip. I just love Kawhi. But what's not funny is actually this next one. This one really hurt. And I normally I would cut these things up so you guys can, see certain parts and stuff. No, I want you guys to listen to this entire thing so you can feel how I felt. Because just listening to this poor dude, Karl-Anthony Towns, talk about just his struggle. And he doesn't even talk about his personal life until the end. He's just talking about as a player for the Minnesota Timberwolves and everything he went through. it's just like, man, and what I don't know. We'll talk about it after the fact. Just listen to Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about this one after this. But Karl-Anthony Towns, man, try not to feel the type of way for Cat because it hurts. It hurts.
Being transparent, I mean, what happened last week, it just added to the list. It's just the same thing every single time. It's something that's always leads to instability. And I joked about it the day before that I was like, man, it's been a real quiet offseason for Minnesota. It's very different. Boom. Made sure they had one left in the hat. So really, I've been through almost, I could feel like everything. Like I don't feel like I've not seen something. I've been through everything, been through death of a head coach who gave me this ability and this chance to play for Minnesota, and I'm forever grateful to the Saunders family, and I owe it my life in a way. I've been through numerous front offices. I've been through numerous regimes. While being blessed to have so many great teammates to play with, I've also didn't have a chance to really build any true relationships with anybody because always instability, always change.
Facts.
I mean, I've been through a lot. I mean, and just it's. I think about it in my mind. I really been through everything you could think about. From, like I said, front offices, coaches, players. COVID. That's just now. That's I've been everything from defamed by teammates, been a scapegoat for people, just COVID, my own personal life. I mean, shit hasn't been easy since I came here, but the only thing that's constant is me being a consummate professional in all of that. I'm not going to change my ways to fit an agenda or narratives that people have for me or they want me to be. I'm going to always continue to be me. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be a professional through everything. A wise man, a cool man by the name of Drake, Aubrey Graham. He said, a wise man once said nothing at all. And I've always.
Yeah. And then, Drake. Sheesh. Yeah. And it's like, we're talking about being honest and being straight up, like we were talking about with Kawhi Leonard. With him, he could have sat there right there and said, I want to be traded, and nobody would have, oh, that is disrespect. No, everyone would be like, yeah, you probably should get out of there. Everyone would agree. Like the entire internet, the entire Twitterverse was on Karl-Anthony Towns' side because he's right. He stayed through all this stuff, and anytime he could have said or done anything, he did it. I will say the Timberwolves did do him a favor by getting his homie and D'Angelo Russell. Like, they did that for him. But then outside of that, like, anytime they together any kind of competitive team or make any sense of anything, then they get in their own way. They trip over their own. And Cat went through all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm not going to talk about whether he should be traded or not, but just hearing what Karl-Anthony Towns said, Jackie, how are you feeling?
That was a lot. I mean, when you really kind of think about what he said, and he went through all of the stuff just that he went through with the team before he even touched on his personal drama. And we know all the things he went through with losing his mom and things of that nature. When you really put all of that into perspective, because we've been so focused on, it's devastating to lose a parent, So we've been so focused on that. But when you take a step back and you realize that that's literally just like the last two words in this saga sentence that is the Timberwolves, it's a lot. And for him, I know that I know where he's at because I understand it. I've seen it. He's at the point in his life now where I'm not sugarcoating this for you anymore. Like he said, I've been the scapegoat. I've been the one. Why should I have to? You guys have literally put stuff on my shoulders that doesn't belong there. And I haven't said anything, and I rode with y'all. But I'm not doing that anymore. If y'all better tell these media people not to come in here and ask me these questions, because I'm going to tell the truth now. Because obviously me holding back and not being forthcoming doesn't help. So I just been through too much now. So you're going to get the truth here too and forevermore. And then the way he delivered it wasn't like I saw somebody said, "Oh, that's a disgruntled person." Right, that's a disgruntled man right there. I didn't see that. I saw a man that's been through some stuff, and now you're gonna get what you get. He's hurt on literally every single level, from his professional level to his personal life to the love that he has for his family members that are no longer with us. He's hurt, and he's operating inside of that hurt. But he still did it with a level of professionalism. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about Karl-Anthony Towns in this moment. It was a beautiful, beautiful display on how he handled this situation.
Yeah. Kevin Lang is over here trying to push the narrative of I smell Knicks. Yeah. Saying reunion with Thibodeau and D Rose plus Kemba. It all makes sense. We'll see. I think that'd be cool. Like? I would not be against say what?
What do the Knicks smell like?
Well, they smell boring this year, and I'm perfectly fine with that because our press conference was probably the least entertaining, and that's not normal for us. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I completely agree. There was no, I got no, of him being disgruntled or him being a diva or nothing like that. That was just raw emotion, and you could just feel the hurt, and that's why it was tough to watch. Just the beginning, like he knew the microphone don't work like that, but he's just like, man, I'm about to say it. I have to say it. All right, here we go. And he even sighed and just went into it. So, yeah, anybody and I saw some people saying like diva or like, I was like, man, y'all don't understand. Y'all, you obviously did not watch the entire video. You did not listen to what this man had to say. I don't know. But, Minnesota is a dumpster fire, and I do feel bad for him. I also feel bad for the Saunders family, too, because it's like, I don't know. I just feel bad a lot all the way around. But yeah, so moving. Oh no, we have one more in the NBA. Speaking of gems, we heard Kat talking about a nice gem from Mr. Aubrey Graham, aka Drake. Klay Thompson, who is on his way to possibly, most likely returning this season. He had some words about him getting ready to be preparing to come back this season and getting healthy and this and the third. And he dropped a nice gem here in his press conference yesterday.
I'll learn a lot more when I come back and I feel that game action, because I'm still in the middle of my rehab. I'm like probably 75, 80 percentile of what I need to do. So when I get closer to 100%, I'll start to feel myself again. But what I learned as far as mentally, just there's things that you cannot control, but you can control how you react to every situation. And I've learned to take a more emotional, conscious approach to crap that comes my way.
Yep. Well, Klay Thompson, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't even realize he was that far away from his rehab. I thought he was going to be at least ready for maybe December, but it sounds like he probably not going to come until the mid part of the season. So I don't know, but I can't wait for him to be back. Klay Thompson is one of my favorite people in the NBA, not even just basketball players, just favorite people in the NBA. So I cannot wait to have him back and hear his first presser after, him playing his first game, because I'm sure it's going to be hilarious. But let's go to the football world, and we're going to talk about your boy LeBron James and how he opened up about the whole rumors that we heard about him getting a contract from the Dallas Cowboys during the lockout. We've heard the story 1,000 times, but to hear it straight from LeBron James's mouth was interesting. It was really cool. I was like, keep going, LeBron. How much was it for? Like, were you actually considering it? And then he also, on top of that, talked about Pete Carroll also offering him a contract at that time. LeBron James, tell us about it.
It looks great. That's true. Jerry Jones offered me a contract. Also, Pete Carroll did as well in Seattle during our lockout time. And it definitely got my blood flowing again, got my mind racing again, thinking about the game of football, being out there on Sundays. But, we was able to get a deal done in the NBA, and I was back on the court in no time. But I definitely thought about it. I still got the jersey, too, that Jerry and Pete Carroll sent me from 2011.
Show us. I want to see him. Show us.
I'm gonna need that jersey, that LeBron James, Dallas Cowboy and Seahawks jersey.
You should personalize one.
I should
get a 23 James Cowboy jersey.
Because I have every other one. It don't feel right that there's one out there two out there that maybe the Seahawks didn't send him one, because Pete Carroll.
No, he said he said he got both of them. He said they both sent him a jersey.
I'm gonna need both of those. It don't make no sense. That's only two I don't have.
Right. Show us, LeBron.
Calling in that game though? Peyton Manning, LeBron, and Eli. There was a time that they had to predict it, and Peyton was like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna pass it," and LeBron was like, "No, I think they go to the run," and they went to the run. Go ahead, LeBron.
Yeah, I've only been watching the Peyton and Eli broadcast for the last few Mondays because it's so much more entertaining. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, and to see LeBron did his damn thing. It was dope. Yeah, it was really good. It was a fun time. It was fun seeing Eli do the Dak hit. It was a good time. Yes, it was just a good time. But yeah, sticking with football. Now we got this guy. I don't want to talk about this dude too much. Do you guys remember the guy that was that said he was going to get a tattoo every time the Ravens won a game this year? Well, he's a man of his word, and he finally he started the tattoo compilation going on in his leg. So basically, every time the Ravens win, he's going to get it tattooed on his leg. 2 issues with this. One, why the hell did you get the first one tattooed so damn big? Are you expecting the team to only win 3 games? Second one, no, that's really it. That knee is thick though, man. You gotta get that checked out. A little worried about that. But I guess why this season? I don't understand. I have so many problems with this. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I get you're a fan, but I don't know. What about this season is like, yeah, this is the year. This is when it happens. But allegedly he's going to be keeping up with tattoos every win of the season. So we'll check in with him. Hopefully he keeps us posted on social media. We'll check in on him on week 17 and see what happened. But interesting choice. And it looks like he wrote it on with a pen. I don't know. But sticking to tattoos, we're going to move over. It's just not a good tattoo. But you know what else is not a good tattoo? This next one I'm going to show you. And I know Jackie's probably not going to be a fan of it because she said that she would not have paid in on this bet. And yes, that's me talking about Tom Woodley. He got the tattoo, ladies and gentlemen. He finally got the Jake Paul tattoo, and he put it where you would expect, right on his middle finger. But this one too, like, did he write that in? Like, I understand you're not gonna kick, but if it's gonna be on your body, you might as well at least make it look all right. Like, even if you're gonna put it on your middle finger, I would done it in smaller print. I would put it like probably right in between, like, I don't know, whatever you call them on your finger. I probably would put it in smaller print, and I would have definitely put it in a font that's not. It just looks stupid. It looks dumb, but regardless, he paid his debt. He paid his bet, and now he called out Jake Paul. Like, all right, I did my part. So now what? And then Jake Paul saw this, and he went on Twitter, and he posted this yesterday. He went on Twitter and said, "Posting my video response to Tyron getting the tattoo tomorrow," and tomorrow was today. So,
I think we lost Chris. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, I don't hear your sound. There you are. I think, is that you? Okay, maybe not. Maybe, are we just going? Okay, I think we're going into what we're not going to do right now. That is hilarious. All right, you guys, let's get into what we not going to do. What a great way to get it, because what we're not going to do is pretend that Spectrum is not here messing with our whole Taco Tuesday. This one is interesting to me. I have one solution and one solution only for it. I'm sure you guys can guess in the chat what that's going to be midway through this. But this is an interesting story because apparently, thanks to a temper tantrum or miscommunication, something, Ohio State has cut Kevon Pope for something that happened on the field. So head coach Ryan Day announced on Sunday that he's the senior linebacker, Kevon Pope, and he has been dismissed for the team. So this happened when Ohio was up 38-7 over Akron. So I'm a little confused as to how something like this will happen when you're leading by that much. But Kevon apparently tried to get on the field. He thought he was supposed to be in on the play. Another teammate waved him off. He went over onto the sideline, threw a temper tantrum, and then depending on which headline you read, it says he stormed off. But then once I originally started looking deeper into it, he didn't just storm off. He was asked to leave after he was visibly angry. And apparently at that time, that's when this whole either he quit or he was dismissed. I'm believing that he was dismissed. But when he went to the locker room, and this is why I believe he was dismissed, because I think if he had quit, he would have maybe told us in some way. But when he went to the locker room, he tweeted out this. Now here's where this gets interesting. So let me show you this first tweet. So if you go to Ohio publications, they'll tell you he tweeted this and then he deleted it. But when I went to his page this morning, it's still there. Plain as day. He did not delete it at all. So apparently he feels some type of way. Now, I'm a little perturbed about this because, again, I just don't feel like the way that this was handled needed to be handled this way. So after the school basically said he deleted that, then they said he posted an apology, which once I read it to you, I believe you're going to understand. I don't think he wrote this apology. I think he was just trying to make sure that he was still able to transfer. But he says, last night I let my emotions get the best of me. For that, I want to apologize to my teammates, coaches, and Buckeye Nation. I made a mistake and know that I need to do better, to be better and do better. I'm going to take this time to reflect and work on my mental well-being. So let me just do a little sidebar here. Can we not default to mental well-being when things, let's not, I know where we're at, and I know it's easy to just say I was having a mental breakdown, but sometimes people just piss you off. And sometimes people need to be cussed out. I don't know if this was that situation, but I'm saying if that's what happened, don't default to I'm going to take care of my mental health. If it wasn't a mental health situation, if it was just really somebody did something to piss you off and you felt some type of way, so you reacted to that, that's not a mental health situation. That's a don't start none, won't be none situation. They're two totally different things. And I don't want to take away from people who really do have mental anguish because I don't want to dumb that down. Getting back to the original thing, though, head coach Ryan said he dismissed Pope from the team, saying that he would remain on scholarship for the rest of the semester. And now by transferring, I saw somebody ask about a scholarship. So, yeah, he is going to be on scholarship for the rest of the semester. And by transferring after 4 games, he can retain his eligibility. But he is also the second linebacker to decide to go for a transfer this season. The first one was Dallas Grant. So I don't know what transpired here. I know that the way that he ran off the field didn't look like he was still in some irate state. He ran off with, I'm assuming, an assistant coach or maybe the line coach. He didn't toss his helmet anywhere. It was just kind of a light jog. Sure, he was upset, but whatever happened, this is now I know some of y'all gonna get mad at me, but this is what I think. Had this been Bobby, this might be a situation where it says, he would probably still have to issue an apology because of the way he acted on the field. But it's not a situation where you're just going to, in the middle of the game, because they ended up winning that game by like 50-something points. But in the middle of the game, you're not going to say, you're off the team. You're not going to do that. And as a head coach, I would argue that part of your responsibility is shaping these young men for the future, whether that's the NFL or if they don't make the NFL and they have to go on and work in a professional career somewhere. So when you have a young man that's acting out, it is your responsibility to kind of curtail that, figure out a way to reach him and say, you know what, we're going to talk about this in the locker room. I don't mind you dismissing him from the field if that's what you feel is necessary. Go sit in the locker room until you figure this out. But in what world do you have a kid have a temper tantrum and you basically say, okay, we're going to dismiss him? And that's the thing. It depends on which one you read, because I read like 3 different articles about this. Some say he quit, but most of them say that Coach Day dismissed him. Even if he did quit, let me just take it one step further. Even if he did quit, you walk up to him after and you go, look, young man, what are the problems? Blah, 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 blah. And you work it out and you teach him how to persevere. And you know why you do that? Because I know you would do that with someone else. And this is the problem that I have with this situation. That circles me back to Dez Bryant. This is kind of the thing. You get in these situations where you're like, all of a sudden you feel like you're super dependent. You have to act a certain way, be a certain way that maybe nobody else on the team has to be. Because if you act out, then obviously there's some sort of dire consequences to this. So look, I don't know what his plans are going forward. I don't know what school Kevon Pope is thinking about. I would just like to let you know, though, Deion Sanders is at Jackson State. Sir, I think you need to go ahead and go to an HBCU with a head coach that can understand you and can speak to you in a way that could diffuse a situation like this rather than either derail your college career or let you derail it. Either or, I think you deserve a mentor who actually gives a damn about you. So I'm hoping that you use this opportunity to go to a HBCU because I think that's what you need. But Chris, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Hello.
Are you back? Okay, yay!
Can you hear me? All right. Yeah. Golly. Yeah, I got in the middle of that, but I am kind of familiar with this whole situation. It was confusing as hell. And did you talk about the fact that I saw you put the response, but you talked about the fact that his original tweet was actually still up and they never actually took it down? Because I think they said, yeah, okay, you did. Okay. Yeah, so the whole thing is it's just a weird situation. And I saw in the chat somebody saying, it was Kevin saying, aren't scholarships contracts? And technically they are. So wouldn't he be considered, wasn't he cut? And can you cut someone mid-game? The whole thing is just confusing to me. I'm going to be completely honest because I don't know. And to your point, I also love how you said, I don't like that we always, like, I get it because there's a lot of people, have a lot of different situations, but I don't like that we always bring it to, mental and this, that, and the third, because you're using it as an excuse rather than it being, an actual problem, you know what I mean? Or actual something that you're actually dealing with, but it's just an easy thing to put out and people won't question it. But to me, this seemed really blatant to me. So I don't know. I don't know. I just was just weird, and it's definitely something we're not gonna do because I just wasn't. And y'all know I do. I'm a fan of them, but this whole thing was all the whole entire thing was messy.
Yeah, and none of the articles that I read gave a backstory. None of them said why he
at all. There's nothing. Yeah.
None of them. Why the kid waved him off. None of them said what they some of them said he threw a temper tantrum, but nothing said what he said, who he said it to, nothing. And it was like, okay, when you're literally spinning this narrative the way that you want. And what I do believe in my heart of hearts, hopefully by Friday, Kevon speaks out, but somebody somewhere has told him not to say anything because they're trying to get him transferred to another school. But this is one of those things where I'm going to put the onus on Coach Day because he should have handled this situation better because he's the in this situation. He should have handled it better.
Yeah, all we've been hearing, and like you said, allegedly, is that there was just there's some kind of spat that happened with the player and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is that's the only thing we're hearing. I have to say, to defend the school, how much truth is there in that? Why are we not seeing anything else to it? Yeah, hopefully we hear something about it, but I also am not biting. I'm not going to hold my breath on this one. I don't think we will hear anything about it. It's just going to be what it was. But I'm with you, Coach Day. Come on, man. That was not the move. This is not the right way to handle this at all. At all.
Nope. Do better, Coach Day. But you guys make sure you are here with us tomorrow morning because we're going to wrap up the show now. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you've hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video because we got Lakers Media Day today. And if any good stuff comes out, we're going to do a video about it. So make sure you've hit that notification bell. We will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've slowed down my talk because I feel like Chris is trying to get something. I don't know, maybe not. But we will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Enjoy your Taco Tuesday. Bye.